Good morning. Today is the 9th. And Pharaoh said, "Who is the Lord that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Lord, neither will I let Israel go." Exodus 5:2. Surely, without realizing it, Pharaoh was repeating the words of the man who is the first son of perdition, even Cain himself. Those who know not the Lord know not his majesty and magnificence. Those who know not the Lord know not his power or perpetuity. And those who know not the Lord know not that he rewards those who receive his word and punishes those who reject his word. For he will extend justice to both the faithful and the faithless at the day of judgment. Pharaoh, typical of all natural men, knew only of things pertaining to the natural world. God must be revealed by the power of the Spirit, or he remains forever unknown. Okay, so today is Genesis 14, verses 15 to the end of the chapter, which I believe is 24. And then Genesis 15 through verse 16. In the rest of 14, Abram comes back from rescuing Lot, and the king of Sodom comes out to greet him, and also Melchizedek, the high priest, comes out and he blesses Abram and offers tithes. I think Abram offers tithes. And then the king of Sodom is like, "Hey, give me back my stuff." And he's like, "Dude, take your stuff. I ain't going to take it. The only things we took is food to feed the men. You can have the rest. It ain't mine. I don't want you saying that you made me rich." So that's 14. And then 15, the Lord speaks to Abram, and he's talking about his seed, and Abram is making an offering of some kind. It was a little bit confusing for me, but he's making an offering, and the Lord is speaking to him about his posterity. So, Melchizedek, the king of Salem, is an exemplary prophetic leader whose faith whose faith and nobility of character were so perfect that the higher priesthood is named in his honor. And then in verse 18 it talks about the Most High God. El Elyon is the Hebrew expression for deity rendered in this passage, where it occurs for the first time in the Old Testament. The expression "the Most High God" occurs rather frequently after the Old Testament, New Testament, Book of Mormon, and Doctrine and Covenants. And then in point of interest, Arabs are descendants of Abraham through Hagar's son Ishmael. While not all Arabs are Muslims, those who perform the traditional Hajj, which includes Sa'i, a ritual walk commemorating Hagar's search for water as she wandered in the desert with her son Ishmael. It is carried out by walking rapidly back and forth 7 times between 2 low hills called Al-Marwa and Al-Safa while praising Allah. Okay. Then into chapter 15, it just has one thing here. Eliezer, meaning God is help, is the man who Abram identified as steward of his house, apparently the same steward who later acted as emissary in the quest to obtain a wife for Isaac. This devoted man in the circle of Abraham was commissioned to go to the city of Nahor in the region of Padan Aram in Mesopotamia, where Abraham's kin were located. According to the familiar story, it was Rebekah who came forth and offered water to the weary traveler and received of him gifts from the estate of Abram. When the servant presented the invitation for Rebekah to journey to the abode of Abraham and Isaac, her answer was in the affirmative. The servant of Abraham was thus able to complete his commission with honor and success, and Isaac received a wife in fulfillment of the promise of the Abrahamic covenant. Rebekah subsequently gave birth to Esau and Jacob. All right, well, that's all for that. Little weird week, but I mean, that's what happens when you break up a chapter in half. Okay, that was Genesis 14 verses 15 to the end, and then Genesis 15 verses 1 through 16. We've only got 2 more days of this craziness, so endure.